Perfect. So, Mauro, I think we're ready to go.
We're ready to go. O Mauro vai sinalizar aqui. Okay, I'll start. Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening for our other partners. We are here at the closing session for our Symposium for Internationalization. I have big shoes to fill in this afternoon as your co-host for this last session, where we have a special guest, Professor Andrea Lozada Vasquez, from our dearly partner from Ecuador, Especialidades Espírito Santo. And joining her, we have Professor Marcelo, our dear Director for International Affairs. And I'll be here as your co-host, Vivian, gladly sharing this special event and last session with you guys. We're going to have under the team faculty engagement, where we chose this awesome team for the SPIN, for the 8th edition of the SPIN, where we wanted to share light on our faculty members who are the special players for the key players for internationalization of international education. So please join me now, Professor Marcelo and Andrea, and I'll be here with you guys. Thank you so much, Professor Andrea. It's such a pleasure, it's such an honor to have you with us. And I was forgetting, let me read her bio so you guys can see, can hear what we have. Professor Andrea Lozada Vasquez, she holds a bachelor's degree in Arts and Translation and Interpretation from Universidade Espírito Santo, and she's the main director for International Affairs, where her primary role is to run international programs for Ecuadorian students and faculty to go abroad and organize international programs of cultural immersion in Ecuador for foreign students. Mrs. Vasquez, also responsible for promoting international relations with other institutions abroad. The Universidade Espírito Santo, it was founded in 1993. It's a private and nonprofit institution located in Ecuador. The institution has become an intellectual powerhouse with an excellent reputation for teaching and research and connections with local companies. In 2021, Universidade Espírito Santo has been ranked as the best private university in Latin America's International Outlook category of the Times Higher Education. So with that being said, I want to welcome Professor Andrea and Professor Marcelo to join us for this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vivian.
Thank you, Viviani. I'll be very, very brief. I don't want to take too much of the time of this exciting session. Andrea, thank you so much again for being here. It's a real honor. We're big fans of your work, and we're very proud to have a university in Latin America, being so dynamic and doing such a great work on internationalization. We try to do the same here. And I am really looking forward to your talk, and maybe we can expand our partnership in the future. So hopefully this will be just the very first of a series of meetings, and perhaps the next one we can do in person. So you're more than invited to come to Curitiba and spend some time with us and knowing a little bit more of our campus and our institution. So hopefully we'll do that, in the near future. But again, I don't want to take too much of the time of this session. So welcome again, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Marcelo. Thank you so much, Viviane. And Anna also, I know she's somewhere around there too, and the team. Yep. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And my sincere intention here is to share with you and other colleagues around the world something that contributes to our work. So I'm hopeful that you get that from me today, and that's the idea. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the opportunity. Okay, so we'll start now with the topic that I wanted to talk to you about today, which is faculty engagement. And as the title says as well, it's not easy. It's not an easy topic. So I'm just going to go ahead. I also want to perhaps go into each one of the points and not as deep, so we can leave questions, time for questions and debate, I guess, at the end. Happy to share. So we can go to the next one. Next slide, please. Engagement. Just first, I thought, when I saw the word engagement, so okay, I know what it means. We all know, but let's unfold a little bit of what it really means. Next slide, please. So in terms of definitions, there's a few, but I found three that really caught my eye. The first one is a promise to meet or be present at a particular place and time. And I make emphasis on this definition as being present, a commitment there. The second definition, emotional involvement or commitment. Those two are very much related. I think I can't leave them out when we talk about engagement, right? Emotional involvement or commitment and being present. I think those are words that we must have very much around or logistic when we work as international educators or administrators. And the third one was a funny one because I never related that. I'm not a marketing person, as you already know, but I found out that engagement was very much using marketing as a term and is the use of a strategic, resourceful content to engage people and create meaningful interactions over time. Again, strategic, resourceful, and meaningful. So which brings me to what is our mission? And it's fine. Thank you for the next slide because I was going there. Thank you so much. Please keep going. To what is our mission within those three concepts, right? So I'm not gonna give you again, going with the definitions, but I just wanted to make a point here in terms of what our mission is regarding engagement. And our mission is to create meaningful and sustainable connections among students, faculty, administrative staff, and more importantly, and this is something that perhaps sometimes we forget because it's our environment, institutions, right? The communities who we work for, who we exist for, right? In order to find solutions to global problems through international education. So I think it just gave me, a lot of people ask, okay, what's the mission of the institution, right? We'll talk about our mission, but are we really, going deeper into what that mission means to all of us in our different realities, whether it is Brazil, whether it is Ecuador or Bolivia or the States, etc. So I just wanted to share with you this mission that I got, and it's totally, I think it involves everything that we do as a core to our work. Can we continue, please? So having said that, what is our challenge, right? Our challenge is, but not so fast, go back. There you go, thank you. Our challenge is faculty, they're academics, they're professors, they're professionals, they're experts in their area. More importantly, they are our key partners. They are our main asset, as opposed to what, again, not to say anything wrong about institutions. I think it's very human in every area of or field of work, whether it is higher education or a company or I don't know, marketing, sales, etc. In our case, faculty members are our main asset. They are the ones who we should care about the most, I think mainly more, sometimes we think as institutions in buildings and technology, and how do we get, more things so people will see we are advanced, but the human resource, I think, is many times forgotten, underestimated, and that's a huge mistake in our field of work, because our product, to say it in a way, what we sell, it's not tangible. And so it goes through a lot of the human work that happens in the classes, in the courses, what students see in an institution. They follow that because they see the people in it. And I think that started to go away or fade away, in many years, during many years, until the emergency came, the global emergency. And so we can talk about the emergency, the pandemic and everything that we have been through this last almost 2 years. But it's about the people. And it may sound cliche, but faculty are our main asset. And it's not easy to work in an environment where everyone is unique, right? And they are our key partners, like I said. Key partners, why? They are in direct contact with the students. They are teaching on a daily basis, constantly with them. They are grading sessions. They are role models for many people. They are studying constantly and researching. They have lots of experience in their field, right? They know their area of study more than anyone in their institution. Probably in most of the cases, they are very much of an expert, right? They don't like to be wrong, obviously. No one does, but especially someone who focuses a lot on studying and researching and knows what the needs are. It's not easy to get that, to start the conversation, So they are the ones, professors, the faculty, they are the ones who directly connect with the students, like I said. And this is a challenge, to make them become that best route or channel in order to pursue institutional goals, right? So whatever these goals may be, when it comes to internationalization, okay, that's one goal, internationalization. But it's internationalization is a tool, not the end, right? The end is a service that we give to the communities. Again, this is something that I think it's a little bit forgotten many times. Marcelo, are you guys there? I'm not sure if everyone, I lost
Yep,
images.
we're here. Yes,
Cool. Okay.
we're here and
Just
listening.
making sure that I'm not talking about myself.
No, 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 no. We're all here.
But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that it's not easy because they're very important people. They're people who have studied a lot, and it's not easy to start the conversation there. So it is a challenge because it takes a lot of work. I think a lot more of what we may think. Can we continue to the next slide, please? So I came up with I got together a few things or steps, however you want to call it, that I wanted to share with you, because I know that there is no formula to say, okay, this is the way to go. We're all different, and that's actually what's genius about everything, right? The diversity. But I hope that these steps that I wanted to share with you today perhaps could help you in a way to implement them to the reality in your institution. And that's the whole idea, that these could work. Because to be honest, they've worked for me in this last few years. What I can say, in this institution where I work, I've seen good results. And so I hope that they may help you as well. Okay, so number one, know your higher education institution that well that you actually feel part of it. It's the good, like the movie, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Get to know everything about the institution. Get to learn from them. I know that in our case, there's many international administrators who are not in their home country. They're working in different areas, and that's great. That's even better if you find yourself in that situation, even better. But get to know. It's more difficult perhaps to get to know since it's not your home or within your comfort or what you know, but it's important to find a way to get to know institution as a whole. Um, People, different departments, what they do, what they need, what the limitations are, their projects, what are they working on. I know that when somebody new comes into the institution, they usually introduce them to all the staff. In many institutions, they do this, but it's not necessary to wait for somebody new to be hired so you can go to the different departments and introduce yourself and say, hey, I do this. What do you do? My name, just introduce yourself as a very regular thing. It has worked for me to just actually and go to the different departments without no one asking. If I hear that someone new was hired, I go myself and I introduce myself and offer my help. Um, in a way that's not to only say I'm nice, right? But just to let people know, hey, I'm here. We can work as a team, right? And that's in administrative area as much as at the academics. That's really important. Um, New people, new core workers, even if they're not new or you've seen them in a while, every now and then go and catch up to the different departments to see what's going on. What are their limitations? Like I said, not only the good things, but just what the problems are. Um, and talk to people also outside the higher education institution to see how they perceive the institution. That's very important, and it has helped me to create connections, students, faculty members with the community that serve to international activities because it's the connection is really important. So talk to the people outside the institution and see to have a better understanding of how your higher education institution is perceived at a real personal level outside, not only from within the institution. Get your truth, because it's important that us as administrators have a real, true picture of what our institution means for the community, mainly, not as a organization or a corporation or whatever it may be. Okay. That is a first step. It takes a while. Again, it's not easy. It could be done in many ways, but and I could give you more examples, but that would be the idea to get to know, and only you will know how to get to do that in your own reality. Next is to know your community. Like I said, it's the community is who we serve, right? In our case, as international educators, we serve the community not only in our country or from where we are working, right? We serve communities all around the world. So knowing my community as an international administrator is crucial to be able to connect with other communities in other partner institutions to see, okay, I know what they want. I know what they have. I know what they want to share. I know what their power is. That's why it's so important to connect to the community as well, not only the institution. And how do you do this, right? Okay, it's easy to say, know your community. So depending on the case, I can give you an example, a personal example. I started getting involved in international education through a homestay program. I started working at this university as a homestay coordinator for international exchange students who would visit us here. So, as a homestay coordinator, I had to get in touch with people in the community who were willing to welcome students in their homes around the area. And at first, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to knock on doors and say, this is who I am, this is what we do, would you like to take part of this? People was a little hesitant to do it. And then they started to see the benefit of these cultural enrichment that they would get from the students. And this helped me to go more into the community, visit their homes, obviously do a background check, follow up while the students were there, after the students were gone. So all that contact got me very close to the community where my institution is located. And that helped me a lot into connecting dots with community, homestay families, whether homestays also got me connected with NGOs. I mean, it's interesting. You would never think that those connections would happen, but they did, and it was just through the homestay program. I got to know the needs of the families. I got to understand what the needs of the community were, what their limitations were as well, and what makes them different. And that helps us also to create really good international cultural programs focused on cultural immersion. And this was really beneficial for students who visit us and for our students as well. But again, there's many ways to get to know your community, but it's really important to get to know it well so you can connect them to what the university is doing as well. So if we can continue to the next point, which is 3. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay.
Oh,
Can you hear
previous one?
me?
Yes, we can. I think, Anna, we need the previous one. There you go.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Listen, so yeah, although it may seem okay, listen very carefully, pay attention, um, be serious about it, be serious about listening. When you talk to faculty, it's like when we say, "Hi, how are you?" Do you really want to know how I am, or are you just saying it? Just are you seriously asking? Do you want to know? So at times I would think, yeah, hi, hey, how are you, blah blah, and then I really started listening. Hey, a faculty member or another administrative staff and within the institution, people who we work with on a daily basis, just, hey, how are you? Just really tell me how you are. Tell me how you're doing. How's your wife? How's your husband? How are your kids? I heard you were sick last week. I mean, seriously asking and seriously listening to people, thoughtful attention. That's really important. You create a connection with people, and that's something that they don't forget. Give consideration. Um, Most of people, when they ask how you are, they don't want to know. But there was a moment when I thought, you know what? I want to hear I want to listen. I want to share, and I wish we would share something personal, and then it just started creating a connection. Um, People are a ton of magic. People have tons of magic, and sometimes they may surprise you with some answers and stories that will make your day. So I think I could tell you. I could tell you a story about a professor um, here in School of Communications. For instance, we have a professor that she's she is I think her focus is research for the moment. At the moment, she's focusing on research, but she tends to talk a lot, and a lot of people are not very keen on talking to her because she continues talking. And one day I remember sitting down with her and saying, look, what, let's talk. Let's talk for, whatever you want. So we talked for a few minutes, and it was the most interesting professor to talk to. I think I never gave myself the chance to really listen to what she had to say, and um, and I honestly thought I should pay this woman for all the advice that she gave me after we finished the conversation. So it was a really interesting. And every time I see her now, we talk. I got to know her better, and I actually enjoy a lot of the conversations that we have now. And she's a very much on board faculty member, working with different programs in research and within exchange, students exchange and faculty exchange. She's very much on board. But again, it didn't take that much. It just took, just one moment to say, I'm going to listen now. I'm going to listen to what she has to say, and it was great. So that's why that's a good advice, and I think it takes, may seem not important, but it is crucial as well. So if we continue to the next step, get curious. Again, that's related to the last one, because it's about curiosity, right? Really intention of listening. Okay, what I want to know, I really want to know. It's not just something that I want to do to obtain something else, right? So I'm really curious to know about this person. How are they doing? What are their goals? What are they working on right now? What have they been working on? What are their projects? How do they see this class or this project will benefit the community or serve society as a whole? Why did they start studying this? What made them want to study? For instance, today I discovered that our new dean of one of our biggest schools of business and economics, entrepreneurship, um, is an expert on biomass. I wouldn't thought about that. Like okay, how did you end up here? What happened? What's your story? What's that? That's really interesting. And also, what would you change if you could? Like, I want to know your opinion as a faculty member. If you could, what would you do here? What would you do different or differently? So getting curious about things, it's important because that makes you start talking to people and asking questions and listening. Which takes me to the next point, which is being patient. All of this is all good, yes, but it will not be automatic either. It doesn't happen from one moment to the other. Most of the times, it takes a while. And this is why it's so important to keep our staff in a low rotation, right? Because it takes a while to get to know people. Uh, and that is okay. It takes a while, although, and sometimes it will not work. So you got to be patient about that too. But most of the times, it does work. And I can tell you, honestly, it does. This has helped me a lot to get many projects, international projects, and international activities among faculty and new agreements just by taking the time to make this happen. So it's honest in the core. If it's honest in the core, it will be sustainable, right? So if it doesn't work, then move on to the next project. It doesn't matter. But you did your homework. And so seeing the bright side, even if the things that we are thinking of or projects or goals are not working on, even if the attitude of certain people is not great or not what we were waiting for or hoping, um, you know, it's okay. Be patient about that too. And continue doing it because it will eventually give you results. Um, the next step is was getting uncomfortable. And I'm saying this because at times I would be scared of speaking to professors or PhDs, and oh my God, what am I going to say? They're so they're so smart. They have so many credentials. Wow, and it's overwhelming at times. And I think it made me uncomfortable. It still makes me uncomfortable many times, like but we don't like to be wrong either. No one does, right? And no one wants to be rejected. But it's all about being confident, and confidence is a tool. You know, how do we respond to being rejected? If someone says, "I don't want to talk, I don't have time," fine. It happens to all of us a lot of the time when we want to connect. However, how do I respond to that? The best way possible, not taking it personal, because it's not for us, right? But getting uncomfortable is something that we, as international administrators, gotta do all the time, because we gotta get out there and make those connections work. So finally, getting involved with people, getting involved with people on a more personal level without compromising our professionalism, of course, right? This is important, without compromising being professional. Get involved. We are, or you are the best judge of, if something is not right. But getting involved with people and really going into what their reason to be a faculty member is. Most of faculty members, sometimes you have a lot of all kinds of people within a higher education institution, right? People who may be just passing by, people who have been working in this area for many years, people whose passion is teaching, people whose passion is their area of expertise of a study or of work. So just starting to care more about that, like deeply and honestly care about that. Um, Again, this is something, and I make a lot of emphasis, it has to be honest. Because usually we say, okay, so I'll do it because I want to get that project, or I want to create that connection, or I want to close that agreement, or I want the schools to work together. But we have something that I've noticed, I think, is throughout the years. It doesn't matter how much you want it, or how much we want it, or we think it may be right. If the other person does not feel that honest intention from our end, it will not work. It doesn't matter what we do. I think the intention has to be real. The wanting to get involved, wanting to get to know people, get to know the people in your institution and the community. So the people outside the institution, the people who you are serving, your community, yourself, being honest with the course. What is the mission? What is that we do? Our mission is to serve the community. So I get involved with the community, with the people in the institution and the faculty members, and really asking what the core is for their reason to be there. And your own mission, again, participate, ask to be involved, not only in meetings, but in courses, projects with the people in the community and in school. So, for example, just to give you, I've been in meetings with faculty members from different areas, and all of a sudden you hear somebody saying, we have a problem in this area because the professor, we need a professor, you know? Sometimes you hear these things and you're like, hey, can I give you an idea? Can I give you a hand with that? What's the problem? Let me know. What's going on? What is it you're lacking of or missing there? Maybe I can contribute. That is what I'm talking about when I say get involved, participate. Not only when there's a problem, but just go around and ask, hey, maybe I can give you a hand with that. Actually, that has helped me a lot in terms of faculty members seeing and actually understanding that internationalization is a tool, not a burden. And that is key. is a tool, not a burden. So it doesn't mean that you have to work more to be international. It means that the international has to help you. That's the intention. Being an international institution is positive. It's something that supports all of our work locally. So that is key. And I, in my case, and again, I'm speaking for myself, and in my reality here is that I thought it was clear, but it isn't. And we tend to make that mistake in everyone. We tend to think that everyone else is thinking what we are thinking because that's the right thing. It's just not. It's not. It's There's so many different views, and I realized that really a lot of people in our institution don't understand internationalization and what it serves. So getting involved means make helping people understand that too, and that obviously it's like an ice ball. It just keeps getting bigger, and it works. And I wanted to also share with this point with you. I just had a meeting with visit from representatives from a partner university in the US here, and they just came the first time we meet. It was today, this morning. But when the representative came, he said, "Oh, I met someone, and they talked to me about you." And I know, well, who that was. And this was another colleague from France who had been here in the campus like maybe 4 years ago. And just to give you the picture, Guayaquil is the largest city in Ecuador, and we have many iguanas in the city. That's like our iconic animal, iguanas. So when this French representative came to visit my university, I was showing him around the campus, and all of a sudden we had a mating scene of two iguanas, which ended up in a very much bloody bloody event. In my case, I love animals, and well, I just stopped and I said, "Excuse me for 1 second. I need to help them out. I'll be right back." And he just stood there and looking at me. I grabbed the female iguana with the tail bleeding, and the male iguana running around, and nobody else would catch it. So I went ahead, I took it, I put the iguana on the tree, and I cleaned my hands and said, "Okay, so we can continue now." And, I'm like, that's normal. It happens all the time. And I remember him laughing at the end and saying, I was not expecting this at all. Like, you just taught me I don't know, National Geographic kind of class here. Well, this, guys, was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, okay? This man today, who I've met for the first time, met this French guy, I don't know where, but he talked to him about me because of the iguana. And he said, "I will never forget that woman because of that." And I guess my point is, be true to yourself, be who you are, show that. I think that's very important, not only with partners abroad, but with our own people at the institution. And that's getting involved, participating in everything that really gives a good message. And again, it's being yourself, it's being honest, it's what we need, it's what we want. And if we continue to the last slide, if we don't do that, if we don't share, this doesn't happen. Otherwise, it's really impossible to see and connect the dots from being far away. So we need to get closer to our people and their reason and what they do. I don't know, Marcelo, if we have time for a round of questions or maybe comments. I'm open and here for you. Thank you so much for listening. Obrigado.
Andrea, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. It was really, really nice. I enjoyed every minute. It's so great to see. Yeah, yeah, it's so great to see this amazing work being done at a university that is right next to us here, and
We're really close.
and I can relate to several of the things that you mentioned. I think we have a very similar view of the role of the international office, and how can we engage our faculty members into the process. Most of the things that you mentioned are really also very important and very true to us. But I'd like to ask Vivi. Vivi, do we have any questions? What's the
We have we have a comment. Well,
we
thank
do?
you, Professor Daya. That was amazing. We have a comment from Professor Luciana Godry, where she says, "I really think listening and curiosity needs to walk together, needs to walk side by side." And Professor Júlio Duvalle, one of our agents for internationalization at PUC, said, "I thought the tips were very good, were so good. They serve much more than just engaging in internationalization. Thank you very much." So yeah,
Welcome.
that was really good. It was really,
Nice.
really good.
I do have a question, Andrea. I think that one of the main challenges that we face is what you said in maybe in a different way, which is we need to show our faculty, our community in general, not only faculty, our community in general. But since the theme of the symposium is faculty, let's stick with the faculty. We need to show them that we need to have them as protagonists of the process, right? I think most of the things that you said kind of relate to that core concept that if you have people around you just reacting to a bunch of demands, you won't get it done. But if you can convince them that they are protagonists, they're actually doing the internationalization. We at the office, like you said, we're just trying to remove the sticks and stones out of the way and make it a little bit easier, maybe, right? And once they realize that they are the protagonist of the process, things move much easier. So my question to you is, do you feel the same way? And how do we do that there at your institution? What do you do to try to show your community that they are the protagonists of the whole thing?
To show the community
Yeah, that
that the
that they are the protagonists. They are. How do you how what do you do to make them realize that, and then change their perspective of the process from being just reactive to being the protagonists of the thing?
you mean how to show the community that the professors
Yeah,
are
yeah.
the I guess they're the main. I'm gonna say use this word, but I don't want that to be taken negatively, please. But
Mhm.
professors are our product. It's
They're an
it's what
asset, right?
we're an asset. I
Yeah.
mean, I see many universities show really nice pictures of their campuses buildings. And so why don't we show a picture of our professor who did so many interesting things in terms of research and helped our whole community in a faraway province of our own country? Why are we not advertising that to the community? Why are we not really, showing people that professors are the main product within a higher education institution? Because when you pick a university, you don't pick the university for the building. You pick a university given who is going to talk to you in a class, who's going to teach you. What has that professor done? What are they doing at the moment? How do we show it to the community? Here it's still not clear. Just to make be clear, I guess, in terms of this is something that many institutions don't do. We do it in a way. to the community here through the professors, show them what they've done, their accomplishments. But it's still not the main way to promote higher education. Well, the way we do it is bringing students, international exchange, local students, bring them together and talk to professors in certain activities. But we're still in the process of having the higher authorities within the institutions to understand that we should promote our professors more. And that's the way that the community is going. That's the only way that the community is going to see it. Again, I know that it works, but as an administrator within a higher education institution, it's not up to me as a decision to do more in that area. But from our, I guess, range of action through international activities with international local students, we try to make our professors known to the community in a variety of activities that we do here with NGOs. For example, a good way to do that, Marcelo, could be short programs, faculty-led, very much focused on the faculty needs and what they want to accomplish for their area of studies. So, for example, bringing groups of students to our campus with the faculty and having them in the community through a variety of activities, that gives them that opportunity to connect directly with the community. Local faculty and international faculty. Again, this is within our range of action in international areas. Of course, there could be more done from the higher authorities. But in the meantime, until that, I guess, hopefully later on gets to be done, I think we can work with that and make a point through that. I mean, make it more visible. And in what I've seen is that, for example, the faculty-led programs, professors tend to be very excited about them because they're the leaders, they're the ones who control that. And I make sure in every meeting that I have with them when we plan or coordinate these programs, it's like, this is all you. Um, I don't know anything about environment. I don't know anything about law. You tell me, we'll do it. What do you think we should be doing with this program in the community with the international students? You are the ones who will say. So I think giving them the power to decide in terms of those activities. Again, this is only an example. It could be any other activity that you do within your institution with professors, but make them feel honestly from the heart that they are the ones who lead this, and that without them, there's no mean. It wouldn't happen. It just makes no sense. So I think that has to be beginning of help you, Marcelo, to answer your question. Sorry, I got too long, maybe.
No, no, you did. That was perfect. Thank you so much again. I think this your talk was just the perfect way of actually closing our symposium. This is the last session of the symposium. Tomorrow
Yeah.
we have the closing session of the International Week. So Andrea, thank you so much again. I'll give it back to Viviane to do the honors of
Sure.
closing the session. Vivi.
Yeah, I have. I'll just read this last one because I think it closes really well with what you're saying. Professor Luciana Godrez mentions that a lot of us are part of this, and some of us really love this idea of internationalization. But what I see is that we are so involved in the daily job, bureaucratic. This is a hard job that we can even bring our eyes up. So with that said, again, I just want to thank you, Professor Andrea, Professor Marcelo. This was so amazing. And hopefully next year we can have you here with us as a face-to-face event. This is what we hope, right? 2022 with a better view of the world. Yes, we all do.
I'll be
And
happy to
that'll
go,
be
of
awesome.
course. And hope to have you guys here at some point too. So please. Let's plan ahead. Marcelo, has been a pleasure, and yes, I'm here to help anyone who would like to contact me to continue the conversation. Let me know. I'm happy to
All
do that.
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Thank
Thank
you.
Professor.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon
Bye.
as well.
Bye bye.
Bye.